Hey guys, what's up? JokerFett here with another video, and this time a very special video. I'm answering your questions on my Q&A. So, yeah, this should be fun. I've already looked over the questions and stuff. Make sure you guys know, ask me my social security number. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Mad Wooba. Just kidding. But anyway, just get things started off here. First person to ask this question was my good friend on YouTube, the Budget Jedi, and yeah, asking some very hard questions. I should always count on you, Ed, crafty person, asking me all these hard questions. First question he asks is, what is your holy grail of Star Wars collecting? And wow, that's a hard one. I've been thinking about this one for a week now, and the answer is always so hard to think of, like pinpointing down which one of my which item in my collection is my favorite Star Wars item. And you know, it's really easy to like give the obvious answer, like, well, I love my AT-AT, it's a huge vehicle, yay, and stuff. But you know, it's just I love all my collection so much that I can't really pinpoint a favorite item. I love all of my vehicles. I love all these figures and stuff. If I kind of expand the horizon of what, like, not just limiting myself to actual like Hasbro toy items and stuff, I would probably say the my autograph that I got, my autographed Darth Maul comic that I got signed by Ray Park, which that was awesome. Which I don't think I've shown you guys this picture before, but let me see if I get down real quick. Well, I got the picture there too. Prove it. There we go. That's better. So, met Ray Park at the 2011 New Orleans Comic Con. Very cool guy. Yeah, got to briefly talk before, you know, I was rushed off, you know, next in line and stuff. But he did let me take a picture with him too, so that's really cool. Give you guys another look at that. He played, and for those of you who don't know, he played Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. And so that was really special for me, getting his autograph, you know, as being one of those characters that I kind of, my favorite character of the Phantom Menace, and like one of those kind of, you know, I always had the figures of and stuff growing up and things. So that was really cool meeting him. And I also got to meet Daniel Logan at the 2011 New Orleans Comic Con, which was really cool. But yeah, not to go off that much. So I guess if I'm going to kind of take the cheap way out, I would say my autograph from Ray Park. That's my favorite Star Wars item. And that's not the only question Ed asked. Is also, what is your favorite Star Wars game ever? Again, another really hard one. Ed, you're giving me a hard time here. I have to choose all these favorites and stuff. Just picking on you, man. But anyway, yeah, my favorite Star Wars game. Another difficult one because there have been many great Star Wars games, and there's also been many terrible Star Wars games as well. So it's like 50-50 on what's good or not. As far as console games go, again, really tough. My favorite game growing up would probably have to have been Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Was a really, really cool game. You know, it lets you become your own Jedi. You can like choose between several different character models. You can choose what lightsaber you have, your style. You know, if you want to like dual wield, if you want to have like the single double bladed lightsaber. And so that I'd probably have to go with that as being my favorite Star Wars game of all time. At least as far as like on like home systems would go. And if I expand my horizon on that question, probably it would be the Star Wars arcade game that you can still find in many arcades across the country now, because it really just like puts you, because it's like designed like you're in the cockpit and you have the control stick in front of you, and you like play like the Battle of Yavin, the Battle of Hoth, Battle of Endor and stuff. And so that is a really awesome, really, really cool arcade game, probably one of my favorite arcade games. Unfortunately, I don't get around to many arcades nowadays. So yeah, that's probably, I guess if I included arcade games and stuff, it would probably be that. And if and if I didn't, then it would probably be Jedi Academy. Alright, and moving on, Mad Woba asks, do I collect anything other than Star Wars? Yes, I do. I am a big-time Marvel Legends collector, especially the original Toy Biz line. Really, really awesome, amazing figures. They're the 6-inch scale, so they're a bit taller and stuff than like the Star Wars figures, obviously. And amazing, amazing detail on these guys. Extremely posable, and they used to be before before like all this economy craziness and inflation and things. They used to be pretty fair price, like especially like originally in like 2004 and stuff when they came out, and that was like my main like Marvel toys growing up, because like the 3 pillars that I was kind of raised on, I guess you could say, that kind of influenced me. Obviously, Star Wars, big time. Also Marvel and Batman. Now you're probably wondering, like, why don't I say DC? Well, because Batman was my favorite DC superhero, and I didn't really get into all the other ones that much, which I'll explain in a bit, because it kind of goes back to another question later on in the video. But anyway, sorry, excuse me, throat's getting a little dry. I swear I need to bring a glass of water when I do these videos. So yeah, I love Marvel Legends and stuff. I don't really collect the Marvel Universe figures, which are the small, like 3 3/4 inch figures, because for the fact that, like, when I was growing up, I got all these Marvel Legends and things, and if I started collecting Marvel Universe, then I'd feel obliged to re-buy the entire Marvel Universe. Obviously, I'd have to go back and buy every character that I already own in the Marvel Legends scale. So I'm just keeping on with the Marvel Legends and stuff. And Hasbro's new Marvel Legends, I didn't really like them at first, especially when they first took over from Toy Biz. There was just a really huge decrease in quality and paint and everything, and articulation, because Hasbro is trying to kind of bring their the same quality that they have on their 3 3/4 inch figures, which works fine for that scale, but they're trying to transplant it onto 6-inch figures, and it doesn't really work out that way. But they're getting better now, especially the new series. And yeah, I'm definitely, like you saw on my last Star Wars Pickups video, I got the Ghost Rider, Blue Flame Ghost Rider. And in the next wave of Marvel Legends that's coming out, I definitely want to get Blade, because I don't have a Blade figure. And I want to get Deadpool, because, I love Deadpool, and it's a new Deadpool figure. So yeah, that's pretty much that with that question. I hope it summed that up for you. As far as DC goes, I don't really do a lot of DC. I don't know, I just never got into collecting that. But I think I've spent enough time on that question. Might be here all day if I don't go on. And next, Busy Forever, one of my buds from the 501st fan group, has asked me a lot of questions, so that'll be probably the majority of this video. Is, first off, what is your favorite game? Now that is another extremely difficult question. This isn't just limiting it to Star Wars, but this is like every game. That is another really doozy right there. And again, I think about these. I've been thinking about these questions all week, and thinking about how I'm going to answer them. But it's kind of a hard thing to do. Probably some of the games that are up there. I can't really pinpoint down one game in particular that's like my favorite of all time, but Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid 4, amazing game, really redefined storytelling in video games like all the Metal Gear games have, which I also really love. The first Metal Gear Solid game came out for the PlayStation 1, which I never played on the PlayStation 1, but I got the Metal Gear Solid Collection thing for the PS2 that came out a good bit a while back. And so I did really enjoy playing that on my PS2 because it's backwards compatible. So yeah, also Half-Life, the Half-Life games are up there too. I mean, do I really need to explain further? Half-Life games amazing immersion, gameplay, story, everything. They got the whole shebang. And so that's probably as good as it's gonna get for me. I mean, I could just like list a whole, like, this whole video could be dedicated to me, like saying, oh, I like this game a lot, I like this game a lot, I like this game a lot, I like this game a lot. So yeah, that's probably like they're around my number one. I can't really pinpoint a number one. See, I'm twisting up my words. What do you plan for the future? That's kind of difficult. What do I plan for the future? Continue making YouTube videos, hopefully, yeah, obviously. Go to college, buy a house, marry, have kids, get old, die. What everybody plans for the future, I guess. Yeah, I don't really. It's kind of a hard question to answer right there. Why did you start collecting figures? Well, I started collecting figures kind of how a lot of people start collecting figures, is because I was a kid and I liked to play with toys. That was kind of it. Growing up, again, I will go into detail on. Well, let me just stop right there with that line of questioning. But anyway, Phantom Menace was one of the first movies I ever saw, and I instantly fell in love with Star Wars. And so I got a lot of Phantom Menace figures. I won't say all of them. And I love that. And before that, after that, I started watching Batman. I got a bunch of Batman figures and things. And that's kind of just like naturally evolved into, I can't really pinpoint the moment when it stopped being, buying figures for playing and buying figures for, looking at and going, ooh, it looks pretty, and not playing for it with it. Yeah, so I can't really narrow that down, like that moment when I started, being like, I'm not a kid anymore, I'm not going to play with these figures, but I want to collect them. Yeah. So, as far as why, yeah, that's it. I love playing with the figures, and then eventually it just evolved into, there's amazing looking, examples of detail and art. And, it's like posable art is what I like to think of it as. You can buy a statue that looks all pretty and all, but you can't move it. It's just like stuck like that way forever. But figures, you can pose them in different ways. You can set up scenarios, build dioramas. And there's just like endless ways to display them and stuff. So I really love that aspect about figures, and I guess that's why I keep on collecting. Oh gosh! Again, my throat's getting dry, so I'm not gonna speak as loud. Do you prefer the Empire/Republic or the Rebellion/New Republic? Well, I've always been kind of an Empire guy myself. There you go. I said. I don't know, I just always love the bad guys, Everybody loves, a good hero and stuff. Oh, I saved the day and da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na and all that. But, the bad guys, you gotta love them because they're so evil, Without them, the heroes would have nothing to do. And the Empire, just really like cool looking. I always love the aesthetic of the Empire, the whole white-clad stormtroopers, very mechanical, evil kind of look. And so I just always love that about the Empire. And as far as the Republic goes, I like that too. Again, going back to my love of the clone troopers and the Grand Army. Yeah, and as far as what I think about the Rebellion, I still like the Rebellion, I don't like, I guess you can say I don't like their look as much, with the orange jumpsuits and whatnot. But they're still really cool. I'm not saying I don't like the Rebellion. I mean, how can you not like the Rebellion? And the Republic, again, is kind of like the natural evolution of the Rebellion, and it's kind of my same thoughts, So I hope that answered your question, Busy. How did I get into Batman? 4 words. Batman, the animated series. I mean, I grew up, kind of like that prime time when you're a kid, like when you're 5 and stuff, and when you really start, collecting things, things that influence you kind of for the rest of your life. And that time for me was, the early 2000s. Not a whole lot of original shows coming on air then. Well, you'd always see, reruns of Batman the Animated Series, the old X-Men cartoons and stuff like that, these great shows from the 90s. And Batman the Animated Series is one of, if not the best, cartoons of all time. There I go, I said it. It is just like the amazing blend of, like, you know, kids can enjoy it, but also adults can enjoy it because it has such great stories. It has darker themes than you would normally see in a kids' television show, and just a lot of awesome stuff. I mean, I could do a whole, like, To the Man Cave on why I love Batman the Animated Series. So tell me, guys, would you be interested in watching a To the Man Cave about Batman the Animated Series? Because, again, I could go on and on and on. Great voice acting, stories, characters, everything. It looked great, too. You know, the whole gothic Batman styles influence that took inspiration from Tim Burton's movies. That's the whole reason that the Batman the Animated Series was made, because of obviously the popularity of Tim Burton's movies. And so, yeah, just really awesome show. Definitely got me more into superheroes, especially the DC side. And Bruce Timm's animated DC universe is one of the best, like, cartoon universes of all time. I mean, I might not have been, like, huge fans of the character like Superman, but I love Superman the Animated Series because, you know, it still had that same high quality of Batman the Animated Series. And then Superman and the New Adventures of Batman kind of I don't know how you say it, they kind of took that the next step with Justice League, which was another amazing show, same high quality. There was also Batman Beyond, which was a nice fresh take on Batman. You know, they weren't just I admire that show for being bold. You know, they didn't just do another, like, hey, let's reboot Batman again, and oh, there's Batman, he's going out and fighting crime and stuff. But, you know, it shows, like, what happens in the future for these characters that we grew to love on Batman the Animated Series. Like, you know, Bruce Wayne's now an old dude, and he's passing the title of the Batman onto a younger guy. And, you know, new villains and stuff with, you know, cameo appearances by the old characters, especially the Return of the Joker movie, which was awesome. If you haven't seen that, I recommend seeing it. One of the best Batman animated movies of all time. And make sure you see the, like, I guess you could say, unrated version. Because they, like, changed the Joker's death scene and stuff. Because, you know, it was like, they thought, oh no, kids are going to be, you know, scarred for life by this. You know, it didn't mess with me. Well, at least I think so. Everybody else will be like, oh, they're a freak. No. Just messing with it. But, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Why I got into Batman the Animated Series. Awesome show. And, yeah, I hope that explained that. And again, if you guys want to see a full episode of To the Man Cave on Batman the Animated Series, you know, tell me. And I'll make it happen. Or at least I'll think about making it happen. If I have the time to make it happen. That's how all that happens. How did you get into Star Wars? Which I am planning, currently, to do an entire episode of To the Man Cave on why I love Star Wars. That is the secret phase 3 of my 100 subscriber celebration, my secret plan. But yeah, how did I get into Star Wars? Why I love Star Wars? Kind of the same general question. Again, I'm not going to go into super amount of detail because, again, I can do a full 20 minutes on why I love Star Wars. But the kind of brief answer to your question, I guess, is it's just, well, again, I don't know if I've told you guys this on videos before. I might have let it slip or something before. But The Phantom Menace was the very first movie I saw at the theaters. I saw it when I was 2 years old. I went to the movie theaters with my parents, and I saw Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And there's no denying that has had a serious impact on my interests and just my life in general. And so, like many people, I owe a whole lot to Star Wars. You know, it got me interested in, it introduced me to a whole new, like, world I didn't think was possible, you know, the world of, you know, this great fantasy adventure, going to beautiful places and stuff that you'll never be able to visit, but, you know, it just brings you there, it immerses you in the situation. And it introduced me to the genre of science fiction, which, that's had a big effect, because, I love science fiction now, Without that, I probably would have never gotten introduced into, like, the Aliens movies, Predator movies and stuff. I definitely would never have watched Star Trek, which, yeah, I don't love... Okay, get this out of the way, because I know that some Star Wars fans are like, Star Trek, blasphemy, and they got that silly rivalry like in the movie Fanboys, which is an awesome movie, but like they kind of amplify that whole like Trekkie versus fanboy hate and stuff. But yeah, Star Trek I don't really like, or anything like the original show in the 60s and stuff. I watched an episode of it this summer when I was at my grandparents' house, and it was pretty corny, I have to admit, but it was the 60s, what are you going to do? I did like the Next Generation show. That's like, they got free on Amazon Prime, so I've watched like the first season of it, and I've watched several episodes of the second season. Yeah, that was a pretty good show. I've seen The Wrath of Khan, that was a pretty good movie. The Next Generation movies are alrighty, I guess. See, did I just really put a Y on alright and a Y on guess? Okay, I'm ashamed of that. I have to admit I'm ashamed of that. But anyway, getting back on topic. Yes, I would have never been introduced into the whole world of science fiction and stuff. And as far as like, my interests in like outside of the pop culture spectrum and stuff, like what I'm interested in academically, like my love for science and history and all those things that I hope to pursue a career in sometime down the line. I'm kind of that age where like everybody's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I don't know, couldn't really learn about that. It's like, so I don't know exactly what I want to do as a full-time profession. Maybe something in the science, or I guess that's going back to your what do you plan for the future question. It's like, what job do I want to have? The sciences, I like the sciences. I like history. I'm very good at math. I'll say that. No shame in that. But I don't really enjoy it a whole lot. English, I do like English. My teachers seem to love my papers that I write. So, it's just Star Wars has just had this huge impact on my life. And I'm not going to drag this on, because, I'll talk a whole lot about that in my To the Man Cave episode, which maybe I'll film this weekend, have it up sometime next week. Which, yeah. So that's all the question, guys. Thank you for asking your questions. I know this, and if you've been watching me this entire, 23 minutes now, that I've been prattling on answering questions, and I applaud you. And, yeah, just briefly talk about what I have planned as far as video-wise. There will be another episode of Star Wars Pickups this weekend, or it might be called Marvel Pickups because it seems to be more heavily Marvel than it is Star Wars. Tomorrow I'm going to go see Dread, probably not 3D, probably 2D, because I don't really love 3D that much. And so if I get inspired to, I'll do a movie review of that. I heard it was pretty good, so as far as what I've heard of the movie, like user reviews and stuff, I heard it was pretty good. So I look forward to that. Yeah. As far as videos wise, I'm going to hopefully record several more episodes of my Republic Commando walkthrough, which I probably won't release an episode this weekend because, I've got my Star Wars pickups and stuff. I don't like to do multiple videos per day because then I feel like I'm hassling you guys, like, look at this, watch this, watch this, watch this, and stuff. So I don't want to spam your sub box. So I'll probably wait until next week, release it throughout the week. Can do what I did last week where I have like 3 episodes during the week maybe, because I know it's just like what I have to do as far as like, homework and studying and things. It's just like I don't have time to record gameplay and narrate, and then it takes like an hour or two to render, and then another hour to upload, and all that madness. So yeah, once again, if you've been watching me, it's almost 25 minutes now. This entire 25 minutes of me prattling on, answering questions, again, I applaud you. You deserve a standing ovation. Alright, now I'm sitting back down. Alright, so yeah, thank you guys for asking your questions, and I hope you're satisfactory with my answers. And yeah, that's about it. This is JokerFett, signing out. Bye.